You know our first guest from his reporting for ABC News and Good Morning America. He's also the son of the man who became the iconic face of Superman, Christopher Reeve. We welcome to AM Northwest journalist Will Reeve. Good to have you with us. This is your first time in Oregon?
Yes, it is. It's my 47th state visit. I've never been to Oregon, always wanted to come, and I'm glad to be here.
This is, well, welcome. You, at 33, are living this incredible life. You have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Recently engaged.
Yep.
Let's see, you just did a cameo in this blockbuster movie called Superman.
Yep.
And what else do you have going on? You're doing an incredible job at GMA.
Thank you. I was going to say I have my day job in addition to
that day job. Tell me, let's talk about GMA.
Yeah.
Do you love working on that show?
I do. It's a dream to get to work where I do and with whom I do. I was an intern years and years and years ago at GMA. It's where I knew that I wanted to do this for hopefully the rest of my life. And I stayed in touch with a lot of the folks who worked there and still work there to this day. And I knew that I wanted to do it. So now getting to be at GMA and at ABC is every day is another dream come true.
It feels like a family on the show.
Yeah.
Does it feel that way to you? Like, tell me a little bit about behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, we're still getting our new building legs under us. We just officially moved out of Times Square after all those years, and we're now down with the rest of ABC News and other parts of the Disney company in downtown Manhattan. And that's been a lot of fun as we sort of literally figure out where the bathrooms are.
Do you run into people that you've never met before that you know from screen time?
Yeah, right. Or people that maybe you've met at various events or whatever, but to see folks walking around going to their shows. There's some ESPN stuff happening. There's Live with Kelly and Mark. There's Tamron Hall. There's The View. There's World News. All of the shows that we know and love, and we may know and love the people on them, but we typically haven't gotten to see them so much. Now everyone's commingling. So behind the scenes, you never know who you're going to run into. And a funny story actually from the day 2 days after the Superman premiere in Los Angeles, I was back in New York for my day job, and I was standing outside, sort of in this loading dock area outside our studio. I don't even know, I was probably just scrolling on my phone, just waiting to go back in to go anchor GMA, and I turn the corner and I bump into physically Rachel Brosnahan, who plays Lois Lane.
Oh, wow.
She was there for Kelly and Mark down the hall, or The View or something, and I had just seen her, like, you know, the day before. I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on? Like, funny seeing you here. So you really never know who you're going to see.
What was that, doing that cameo like?
Lots of
think
fun.
of all the connections.
Yeah, no, I think it was, of course, a deliberate choice by James Gunn, the director, and Peter Safran, the co-CEO of DC Studios. I had gotten to know them quite well through this documentary, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, that DC and Warner Brothers didn't make, but they bought and distributed, and we went on this whole crazy ride together. So I'd gotten to know them, and I really trusted them. And when they called me saying, hey, we need the role of a reporter in the new Superman, that's what you do, and it would be a nice wink to all the fans of my dad from the original movies back from the 70s and 80s, I said, sure. And I flew in, I guess, you know, early July of 2024. Shot 4 takes and left. And by the time I was back at the Cleveland airport, where we shot it in Cleveland, it had already leaked online that I had been there and I had done a thing. I called them sheepishly saying, was that supposed to be a secret? I certainly had nothing to do with leaking it out. And they said, no, it wasn't really a secret, and there's paparazzi everywhere, so now the world knows, and now they get to see it.
And in addition, you and your brother and sister won a BAFTA.
Sure, I appreciate you saying that we won it. We just got to accept it. That's us posing with the BAFTA there at the after party. This documentary, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, is, in my humble opinion, a masterpiece. And I feel like I get to say that because I didn't really have a hand in making it. I just, along with my siblings, approved the idea that it could happen, and we agreed to participate and help the filmmakers along with whatever questions they might have had. And we agreed to open ourselves up and be vulnerable about all parts of our life, our lives and our life story. And the filmmakers and the producers and everyone turned it into this amazing work of art that we were just proud to be associated with. I am humbled and flattered and a bit disoriented by any congratulations coming my way because I didn't make it. I just get to reap the rewards of going to stand on stage and grab the trophy.
You did mention you have to be vulnerable, and that's a big thing. And talk about, when you're working on these pieces that have to do with your father and your mother, is it sometimes like, do you learn something new about your parents each time? Do you think back maybe a little bit?
I learned something
about your brother and sister?
I learned something about myself every time.
Oh, tell me.
I would say, well, anytime that you have to explore parts of yourself or your story that you might have thought were settled or figured out or understood, but you have to dig a little deeper and understand your relationship to the person who's no longer here, in this case, both of my parents, invariably, as you're tilling that land, something new is going to come up. And I found that in my project for ABC News, Reeve Finding My Father, where I retraced my dad's journey in Mexico and Alaska, following the gray whales, using the sons of the people who toured him around to be my guides, that I learned some new little trivia about my dad in those specific places, like, this is the house that he stayed at, for example. But what I really learned was a deeper understanding of my connection to him and what makes me who I am vis-a-vis what he passed down to me, both through nature and nurture.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And in more good news, you're recently engaged.
I am, yes.
To a beautiful
it's the
woman.
best news of all. That's the headline in my life, for sure.
Amanda, tell me about her.
Amanda is the light of my life. I adore her. That picture on the screen there, we took at a friend's wedding the day after we got engaged. So we have the glow there for sure. I actually pulled a fast one on her to get her into the position to propose to her. I told her we had to go to the rehearsal dinner for that wedding that we took a picture at. But really, I brought her somewhere completely different. But it was a good way to get her dressed up, you know?
Oh, I got you. I got it. Yeah.
So I was like, we got to go to this rehearsal dinner, and ultimately didn't go to that. And it was funny, after we got engaged, she said, "Do we still have to go to the rehearsal dinner?" I was like, no. We are going to the wedding tomorrow, though. But that was a fun.
Were you nervous?
So nervous, no. I think anxious in the best possible way. I wasn't nervous that she was going to say no, because we had talked about building a life together and being each other's forever person. But I wanted everything to go well. I wanted her to have that magical moment. I wanted to have the magical moment, and I was sneaking around getting both of our families together in hiding nearby from where we did it. And I was just, I guess, quote unquote, nervous that everything go off in the sequence that needed to happen in order to maintain the surprise. But as far as Amanda herself, she is a delightful, in my estimation, perfect human being. She's everything.
I love that.
She's everything that I've ever hoped for in someone to go on a life journey with. So we're having a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay, even better is that you have a little one.
Sort
Stella.
of, yeah.
You have a little one, Stella.
There she
who
is.
I think is the cutest thing ever.
Stella is.
Tell me about Stella.
Stella is a 17-pound cavapoo, although she's probably about 20 pounds right now because I've been accused of overfeeding her.
Oh, it's okay.
I will admit to it on television. I spoiled the dog a little bit. Amanda got the dog along with her family during COVID, before I knew Amanda. And so when I started dating Amanda, Stella came along for the ride. And we're lucky that Amanda's parents live near to where we live, back on the East Coast. So we do a slight joint custody deal, which is great because we all love the dog and she's a lot of fun.
How did you meet Amanda? I've never heard.
We met in New York City, and that's just, we grew up, it turns out we grew up near each other, which we didn't ever know until we then encountered each other in New York City. And it turns out we went to the same grocery store and same pharmacy and all those things. And it's funny how your paths just never cross until one day they do.
Going back to GMA, you cover sports. That's why you're in Portland, in Oregon for the first time ever. Do you enjoy covering sports? Have you always been a sports guy?
Sports are a huge part of my life. I did work at ESPN prior to working at ABC, and I've incorporated sports into my broader portfolio at GMA, and it's a blast. I get to go to the NBA Finals, the Super Bowl. I covered the World Cup in the Middle East a few years ago. And growing up, I was an athlete. I played everything. The one sport I didn't play in an organized fashion was basketball, just because I was playing hockey during that season back home. But sports were a big part of my family's life too. We were all sports fans.
Right.
And I inherited my favorite teams from my dad or my mom or both of them or our family in a broader sense. And sports bring people together. Sports reveal who you are. They reflect what society is at any given moment. I think sports are a great conduit for a better understanding of humanity. Not to be too pretentious about it, but that's what I think sports can do when at their biggest and best and purest form, for sure. And I know that Portland is a big sports town.
Yes.
Big time.
We love the WNBA.
You love the WNBA, you've got MLS, you've got the NBA.
Yeah.
Of course, relatively close to the birthplace of Nike, which has had a big influence on sports, to understate it. So
exactly.
This is a sports town for sure.
Most importantly, sports brought you to Portland, Oregon for the very first time.
Yes.
Will, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a blast. You have a beautiful studio in a beautiful city in a beautiful state, and I'm glad to be here.
All the right thing to say.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.